One important ritual at the Rural Providers Conference to share success stories, and that's what a group called Take a Stand came to do. They hail from Northway, a tiny community southeast of Tok, about 50 miles from the Canadian border. Meth dealers thought they had an easy target, but found out otherwise. Most drivers don't take the time to enjoy the scenery around Northway. Instead, they pass through quickly, unless they need food or fuel. Northway is the last place to gas up before you cross into Canada. Tourists and hunters sometimes stop to buy snacks or shop for souvenirs. Among the offerings, a wealth of beadwork, hand-sewn moccasins, and baskets made from birch bark and spruce.
The spruce roots, you have to dig into the sand or into the ground. The thread right here is spruce roots.
The beauty of the artwork is a window into the Athabascan world before alcohol and drugs.
It's been rough, it's been scary.
Lorraine Titus is one of the leaders of Take a Stand, a group that formed to drive meth dealers out of Northway.
One day a parent found meth in his house on the floor. They had little kids in that house, and I don't know if you've all seen the little package of meth. It looks like those rock candies that those kids can throw in their mouth and it sizzles in their mouth.
That's when the community woke up.
We counted like 15 of our people that were on meth.
In a community of about 70, that's about 20% of the population.
Right now, I can strongly say that we probably have 2 people that are on meth and that are slowly coming off.
So how did Northway turn its runaway drug problem around? That's what everyone here wants to know.
How did you build that relationship with the troopers?
We invited the troopers in. They knew we were serious.
Some of the neighboring communities have also been blindsided by drugs.
We didn't know she was doing heroin. I thought she was just brokenhearted.
Christina Maria Clark died from an overdose of heroin in January at the age of 25. Only 3 years earlier, she was crowned Miss Atna and became a runner-up in the Miss World Indian Eskimo Olympics competition.
What can we do? We're in the beginning stages of where Northway was.
It has to come from your heart. You can't just do it because you want to do it. It takes a lot of commitment.
Commitment that began with a community meeting, a lot like this one.
What we did at our first meeting, we put a bowl in the middle of the floor and we had people write names of people they wanted prayers for.
The whole village of Northway came together and put their hands around me and held me.
Carolyn Dillard believes the community saved her life.
I wake up, I'm thinking of meth. I go to the bathroom, I'm thinking of meth. I eat, I'm thinking of meth. Meth totally took our heart, our mind, our soul. Everything.
While meth addicts like Carolyn found love and support, drug dealers became the enemy.
We've got a list of names of who we can watch. We've got a list of license plates. We've got a list of vehicles that we watch.
Gerald Albert and others began to patrol Northway at night. He told the group he sometimes got only a few hours of sleep before he had to go to work.
I was threatened many times. It didn't bother me because I was doing something right.
This family's home, built right next to their old, carefully preserved homestead, tells you something about Northway.
9 or 10, maybe more, of kids were raised in that house.
Despite the powerful family bonds here, a generation or two lost their childhoods.
I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Like most of the members of Take a Stand, Lorraine Titus's parents were alcoholics.
When I started drinking at age 13, it was rebelling against them, trying to make them see that I can do the same thing and blah, 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 and it didn't faze them.
Lorraine kept drinking, even as she raised her first 2 children.
My 3 other kids, I raised without alcohol, and I can see the difference. And we talk about it a lot. I said, how did we come out of it? And it was because of unconditional love that our grandparents gave us.
But just when alcoholism began to subside in Northway, then came the next wave, meth. Once Take a Stand grasped the magnitude of the problem, they began patrols to drive the drug dealers away.
Do you get a lot of guff for being a little bit too pushy about it or inquisitive?
No, lots of support. We get from the local community.
As well as support from the Alaska State Troopers, which helped the community bridge its challenges.
It's equivalent to a community watch program in the village of Northway.
Trooper Lance Silva says he was impressed with Take a Stand's commitment.
People just drive down the road, keep an eye out, looking for suspicious activity, people in cars like, what are you doing at a pullout at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's negative 45 degrees outside in February?
Trooper Silva encouraged the patrol not to confront the dealers, to leave it to him to investigate. But he says Take a Stand provided valuable information.
We're not everywhere 24/7, so when we have community members reporting things that are happening in the area, then it makes you want to try hard to help out the community, to show them that their Take a Stand group is worth its while.
So far, the scourge of meth has hit mostly young adults. For now, the children have escaped, but the predators are still out there.
When they come in, we'll get tips from Tok, we'll get tips from Tanacross, we'll get tips from Tatlin, saying they're on their way up here.
But thanks to the community's vigilance, the kids score baskets, not drugs.
I'm proud of what we have accomplished.
A little insight into Northway and why they're so tough. The community got its name from Chief Walter Northway. When he died in 1993, he was more than 115 years old, known for trapping and making snowshoes. Well,